Sheriff Todd Baxter, Attorney Sandra Doorley. My name is Chris Chichester. I live at 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield, and I have never committed a crime. Sheriff Baxter, yesterday I went to my mailbox, and I received for the second day in a row this envelope. And in the corner of it says Professional Ambulance Billing, LLC. I didn't open it because I know it's in there. I will not open it. I'm not paying that bill. Here it is again. Professional Ambulance Billing, LLC. I have a bill for an ambulance that I was in because you're a fanatic, degenerate, sociopath. Lowered his shoulder, ran at me, drove his shoulder into the small of my back, and knocked me down, and my head hit the concrete pavement. And this attack, assault, and crime was done to me at the pharmacy entrance of Wegmans Food Markets at 2157 Penfield Road. What's the name of your public employee that committed this crime upon me? Sheriff Todd Baxter. I had to go to the hospital to get an MRI, and I was fine because I got a hard head, party-switching, bald-headed fraud Todd Baxter. What do you think about that at the district attorney's office, Sandra Doorley? Party-switching fraud. Monroe County Sheriff Office employee lowers shoulder, runs at me, knocks me down. My head hits the pavement. I have to go to the hospital to get an MRI. And they're refusing to tell me the name of this individual because I'm going to press charges against him. I'm laying in the MRI cylinder and I'm looking up at it. And I have to control the rage I have being attacked and assaulted. It's not the first time I've been attacked and assaulted by Sheriff Todd Baxter's fanatics, degenerates, sociopaths. What's his name? Todd. Because Todd, there were 10 plus witnesses to this crime upon me. Because when I left my residence to go to Canandaigua National Bank at the ATM, you're passing me on Penfield Road, going back and forth because you wait for it, following me. Yeah, following me. That's why your 10 employees in their 5 vehicles converged upon me all at once, because you're following me. You know exactly where I was going to be. You were waiting for me to come out of my residence. What's the name of this degenerate that attacked and assaulted me? Degenerate Sheriff Todd Baxter. And you, degenerate Sheriff Todd Baxter, will refuse to tell me his name. Just like you're going to refuse to comply with every Freedom of Information Law document that I read here. I demand to know how you discipline your employees at the district attorney's office and the sheriff's office. This is December 2nd. On December 4th, I'm going to send you the same thing. And I'm going to be soon sending to you registered mail, return receipt, everything. It's going to be 500 plus pages that I sent to you. And it could approach 1,000 depending on what I decide to send. Including every Freedom of Information Law that you've refused to comply with. You've complied with 2. So, what I'm going to read today on December 2nd, you're going to refuse to comply with. What I'm going to read on December 4th, which is already written in PDF, you will refuse to comply with. What I already sent to you on November 30th, you're going to refuse to comply with. I have never committed a crime, despite what I'm holding in my hand. I'm 55 years old. In the 30 plus years since I was honorably discharged as a 22-year-old Sergeant E5 from 2nd Squadron, 17 Cavalry, 101st Airborne Division Air Assault, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, I have 1 speeding ticket on Washington Avenue on my way to work at the Capitol. I went to Albany City Hall to court, and it was dismissed. That's it. I didn't suddenly lose the ability to make a distinction between right and wrong, legal and illegal. You, Todd Baxter, and you, Sandra Doorley, do not know the difference, and you cannot make a distinction between right and wrong, and legal and illegal, and neither can you fanatics, degenerates, and sociopaths. You won't even tell me the name of the prosecutor who stood in Penfield Town Court and didn't talk. And now I have to go to the grand jury because you're concocting other crimes for me, such as attempted assault on my back porch. I'm going to say that again just for you. Party switching, bald-headed fraud, Todd Baxter. Attempted assault on my back porch. And I'm running away from your employees, which I've described in a previous YouTube, and I'm going to describe it again. Attempted assault on my back porch. A nauseating, sickening concoction by a nauseating, sickening sheriff and his employees. Petty larceny, someone you think is me, takes a sign off the front lawn of this residence. A nauseating, sickening concoction by a nauseating, sickening sheriff and his nauseating, sickening employees. Trespassing, I don't know what the hell that is. A nauseating, sickening concoction by a nauseating, sickening sheriff and his nauseating, sickening employees. If there is a sheriff who exists in the United States of America who deserves the attention and the hammer of the United States Department of Justice, it's you, Todd K. Baxter. I was in Rochester last year for a 5K, and I saw the Frederick Douglass Monument. The sculptor is Sidney W. Edwards, and it's so beautiful. It's installed there in Rochester. And the inscription, or what Frederick Douglass has said, is, quote, "The best defense of free American institutions is the hearts of the American people." So, where's your heart, Sandra Doorley? Where's your heart, Todd Baxter? Can you locate it? So, I come outside my residence one day. I stand right here, tell a guy in his tractor nobody owns that land, and walk back in my house. How's that criminal contempt second, Todd Baxter? How is that possibly a crime that delivers 6 of your fellow fanatics, degenerates, and sociopaths to my residence? Tell me how that's a crime. And this is when I first saw the video of me. That is a surveillance device. You bought and installed a surveillance device for 2025 Penfield Road after these parasites, Layla Kumar and Neeraj Shah, came to your office about me walking through this parking lot, but not anybody else. And again today, just like yesterday, I'm getting ready to do my run, 7 a.m., and here comes 2 people walking through the parking lot. A woman and her daughter. I haven't seen these 2 before, because usually it's the same people. Why don't you arrest this woman and her daughter? Did you, Layla Kumar and Neeraj Shah? Were you outside? Are you going to the sheriff's office? Did you, Neeraj, scream at the woman and her daughter, lose your mind? How is it a crime? Todd Baxter, bald-headed, party-switching fraud, to walk out here, say nobody owns that land, and walk back in my house. How do you employ Shannon Meyer on her $67,000 at the sheriff's office? How is this liar, this hack, this extremist employed by you? And the answer is simple. Because you're a liar, a hack, and an extremist too. And you tolerate liars, hacks, and extremists. And you, Sandra Doorley, tolerate liars, hacks, and extremists. What's the name of your prosecutor, sweetheart, who stands in Penfield Town Court, first before John Lomenzo and next before Paula Metzler, and doesn't talk? Do you go to court, Madam District Attorney? Do you appear in court ever? I obviously know your career, because I have to know your career. Because you're oppressing me, so I know who you are. And that's the word. That's not an exaggeration. Because I don't have civil and constitutional rights in Penfield, New York. Do you go to court? Go to court and take your case. And you, Todd, need to go to your jail and walk in there. Be one of your employees. Because the best way to do your job as the district attorney and the sheriff is to be one of your employees for a day or 2 days and experience what your employees experience. Go to court. And Madam District Attorney, if you do go to court and take your case, talk in court. Sandra and Todd, I have 2 of your employees here talking about a case. It's Monroe County Assistant District Attorney Richard Nixon, and he's talking to Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Donald Trump. And Monroe County Assistant District Attorney Richard Nixon is saying, I'm not a crook. And Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Donald Trump is saying, I'm not a clown. Just remember you heard that from me here. So, two concoctions for me. First one I explained. How's that a crime? Criminal contempt, Todd Baxter. The second one, I go to this gym called PW Fitness. I walk over there. It's across from Wegmans on Penfield Road. And when I would go in there, I would avoid Jermaine Benman. And I've been working out at the gym for years. And I know how to avoid people like Jermaine Benman. Jermaine Benman can't control himself at the gym. And one day, I'm on the bench press. He walks up to me. He goes like that. Doesn't say anything. And I don't acknowledge him. And I do not allow people like Jermaine Benman to tell me what to do with the gym. I'm not getting off any apparatus because he tells me to get off the machine. I tell him I'll be 30 seconds because I'm on the machine. I'm on the apparatus, Todd Baxter. Tell Andrew Reale this. You $79,000 a year hack and fire him too. Because what's about to happen to me should never happen to Kevin Baxter or Zachary Baxter. I bet Mrs. Todd Baxter would be in a rage if what's about to happen to me happened to Kevin Baxter or Zachary Baxter. Jermaine Benman, the gym psychopath, walks up to me, and he's going to summon the psychopaths from the Monroe County Sheriff's Office to that gym I'm in the person of $79,000 a year, Andrew Reale. I say to him, I'll be 30 seconds. I lean back up on the bench press, Benman stands over me. I'm leaning up like this, and he punches down like that, and my head snaps back. And he walks away, and I'm looking at his head. I'm looking at him walk away from me, and I had to make a decision right away not to respond for violence and attacking, which is what I should have done, because then it's just another fight at the gym, and I have seen fights at the gym because of people like Jermaine Benman. So, Todd, based on what I just told you, who am I harassing? How can I possibly be guilty of harassment second after what I just told you happened at the gym? And I've seen Jermaine Benman because one day, Jermaine Benman was walking into Wegmans as I'm walking out, and I ferociously let this guy have it. And I had to control myself from not wanting to attack Jermaine Benman for what he did to me. And he looked away like this because he knew right away. Knew right away my identity because he saw me when I went to Penfield Town Court. Isn't that right, Jessica Wagner? Are you still employed at the district attorney's office? Because you, Jessica Wagner, right here, there's your name right there, Jessica Wagner. You still there? Because I didn't see your name because you're not an assistant district attorney and a prosecutor at the district attorney's office. Perry Duckles. Is Jessica Wagner still employed? Because this is the defense attorney for this violent Doug, Jermaine Benman, your employee, Jessica Wagner, because she cut a deal with this guy walking right out the door. I'm in jail for harassment second, sitting in the backseat of Andrew Reale's police vehicle. And Jessica Wagner got together with James Mully at this nauseating Star Chamber of Penfield Town Court. Jessica Wagner, your employee, Perry Duckles, negotiated a deal with James Mully in Penfield Town Court. The attorney for Jermaine Benman walks right out the door. This violent Doug who snapped my head back. I'm going to say that again. I'm in jail for being charged with harassment second, sitting in the backseat of $79,000 Andrew Reale's Monroe County Sheriff's Office vehicle. Jermaine Benman walks right out the door, a free man. How does that happen in the United States of America, Sandra Doorley? How does that happen in the United States of America, Perry Duckles? Doesn't matter to you. And you will refuse to answer how's that happen in the United States of America and doesn't matter to you. The first one's a rhetorical question. The second one you can answer. And I'll answer it for you. And the answer is no. Harassment second and criminal contempt. In 30 years, I have one speeding ticket. Now I have these two concoctions in my hand. From your fanatics, degenerates, and sociopaths, Todd Baxter. And since you know my identity, and I'm ferociously defending myself and attacking your character and maligning your character, Todd Baxter, Sandra Doorley, you're concocting more crimes from me. Attempted assault, petty larceny, and trespassing. Again, What are the names of these 2 employees, as I've said in previous YouTube, and you can look at it because it's detached, who hid in the bushes, walked onto the private property of my neighbor, waiting for me to come outside. And I see them. I don't know who they are. I run back alongside my residence. I run back my back porch. He grabs my arm. I pull away and walk back in my house. The hammer I just grabbed on my back porch is in my hand, and that's a felony. What are their names? And fire their asses. They're walking around outside waiting for me to come out of the residence. They're on the private property of my neighbor, 70 plus years old, who lives with her dog. And anybody in the United States of America would want her to be a neighbor. Just one of the nicest people. You talk to her, a heart that everybody should have. The way she talks, the way she communicates. We used to talk about her dogs together. Just the nicest person anybody would ever want to meet. I know it's a cliche to say somebody's really nice, but she truly is. And I'm thinking, should I go tell her that the Monroe County Sheriff's Office employees walked onto her residence and hid in her bushes? That's not a comedy. Hiding in the bushes when I say it. That's not language from a comedy, to hide someone's bushes. So I thought about going over there and telling her, and I've seen her repeatedly. I see her all the time. She's my neighbor. And I decided not to because of her age. Your employees, Todd Baxter, walked onto the private property front lawn of my neighbor waiting for me to come outside. It's pitch black out at night. You can see from the timestamp that's about midnight or past midnight. And they came running from the bushes, and I don't know who this is. All I'm doing is walking along the side of my residence. Then you can see the body camera where I am. Doesn't matter when you first see me, because that's not a crime. When you first see me on a body camera, that's not a crime. Bald-headed, party-switching fraud, Todd Baxter, you fanatic, degenerate, sociopath who employs fanatic, degenerate, sociopath. Doesn't matter when I first appear on the body camera. Do you understand me? What's the name that this prosecutor's going to take me to the grand jury? Because he's going to concoct a lie too. Because you're a liar too, Sandra Doorley. He grabs my arm. The hammer I just grabbed goes back. I run back into my residence. How's that a felony? This is why you require investigators from the United States Department of Justice to come to the district attorney's office and sheriff's, and particularly the sheriff's office, about what your employees are doing. Because you're doing this to other innocent citizens too. Criminal contempt, harassment, second. Attempted assault, petty larceny, trespassing. Lie, 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 lie. From a liar sheriff and a liar district attorney. Todd, I have your official portrait here at the sheriff's office. And I must say that in this portrait, you are exceptionally bald here. I mean, did you really shine your bald head for this portrait that you took yourself in your ice cream man suit? Yeah, because I mean, your head is so shiny in this portrait here that I had to avert my eyes because I don't know what's going on, Todd. Because, I mean, did you use some Lysol all-purpose cleaning here on you to make your head exceptionally shiny? You know, for this portrait here, I mean, this Lysol? Did you use this Lysol all-purpose cleaner on your shiny bald head, Todd? This is what I want to know. All right? You know, Todd, I mean, really, what does Mrs. Fascist Stooge think about your bald head is what I want to know. Is that what attracted her to you, Todd, baby? So, now, I'm going to read you Freedom of Information Law documents. You're going to refuse to comply with every one. And what I'm demanding is the disciplinary records from the sheriff's office and the district attorney's office. How do you discipline your public employees? And it does not matter that it's internal, because that's what you told the Democrat and Chronicle. For example, pregnant inmate back in custody after escape at Strong Memorial Hospital. Aaliyah Bird, 19 years old. A pregnant inmate who escaped from a Monroe County Sheriff's deputy in Strong Memorial Hospital is back in custody. A 3-hour chase began when 19-year-old Rochester resident Aaliyah Bird escaped from, quote, soft restraint, end quote, in the Strong Memorial maternity ward. How do you allow this to happen? Here she is. That's Aaliyah Bird. And here are your employees around her. How do you allow this to happen? This is why I'm demanding, in the Freedom of Information Law documents I'm going to read, how you discipline your public employees, and you're going to refuse. But when the investigators I contact in the federal government, state government, Come to your offices, because I'm confident they're going to come to your offices after I send them 500 plus pages. You don't have to answer. Who's Lee LaRoque? Todd Baxter. Sandra Doorley. Proof by affidavit. Where's this affidavit? You're going to get a Freedom of Information law. I'm going to demand to see this affidavit from this bald-headed, wig-wearing hack on Penfield Town Court. You're in here looking for a hammer? You exited with my Chromebook? Where the hell's my Chromebook? What'd you find on my Chromebook? I'm on Fox News. I'm on ESPN. I go to Drudge Report. I read the New York Times. I read the Washington Post. I read the New York Post. I read the Daily News. I read the Times-Union of Albany. I don't have civil and constitutional rights in the United States of America because of you, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, and you, Sheriff Todd Baxter. The best defense of free American institutions is the hearts of the American people. Where's your heart, Sandra Doorley? Where's your heart, Todd Baxter? That's Frederick Douglass. I'm being evicted from my residence because of you, Todd Baxter. I moved here 8 years ago. My ex-girlfriend, beautiful Laura, Giuseppe Nino Spano, Colleen Spano, all my landlords. Please consider this letter a 90-day written notice to vacate 26 and a half Sanders Farm Drive, New York, 14526 by January 2029 a.m. I'm evicted because of you, Todd Baxter. It doesn't matter to you that you have done this to me. Doesn't matter to you at all, Todd Baxter. This Freedom of Information law I'm going to read on December 2nd. This is December 2nd. 48 hours from now. This is December 4th. I already wrote it. Everything I'm going to read now on December 2nd, I'm going to read on December 4th. And you're going to refuse to comply with everyone here. Everyone from the 2nd. I already sent this to you on November 30th. You already have. Everything I'm going to read today, December 2nd, you received on November 30th. I'll read it again in 48 hours. I have it here. It's attached in PDF. Comply with everything. And you will refuse. I want the disciplinary records for the Monroe County Sheriff Office of Todd Baxter, the Monroe County District Attorney's Office of Sandra Doorley. And I want the most recent public employee payroll for your offices. So I can take what I have. Lee LaRoque took a copy of each payroll out of my residence when his fanatic came in here. So I can look to see how you gave raises. Every single one of these, you're going to refuse to comply with. And now I'm Michael Radler, a $0 employee, not one penny, not one nickel, not one dime, not one quarter, not $1. What do you do with the Monroe County Sheriff Office, Michael Radler? Are you paid any sum of money to go into work at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? If you go into work on 130 South Plymouth Avenue, what's the answer? You refuse to answer, so will Todd Baxter. Freedom of Information Law, December 2nd, 2020. It's my signature. C. Chichester, JUL 4, 26 Sanders Farm Drive, Penfield, New York, 585-678-9291. Freedom of Information Law. I am the requester, Todd Baxter and Sandra Doorley. The internal disciplinary records of documentation for employees at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office of Sheriff Todd K. Baxter. That Sheriff Todd K. Baxter has disciplined, reprimanded, or terminated from employment at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. The internal disciplinary records of documentation for employees at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office of District Attorney Sandra Doorley. That District Attorney Sandra Doorley is disciplined or reprimanded or terminated from employment at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. I refuse to comply with both, despite the fact that every single person you have to discipline or terminate is a public employee and exists with tax dollars. December 2nd, again, send me a copy of the most recent list of salaries that it constitutes public employee payroll, District Attorney's Office, Sheriff's Office, and you refuse. The names and salaries of every public employee at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Todd Baxter. Very simple to do. The names and salaries of every public employee at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, District Attorney Sandra Doorley. Very simple to do. Put that in the mail, Perry Duffels. Perry. Or a snake in his suit, because that's exactly what you are at the District Attorney's Office. Snakes in suits. You work a 41st hour. How is a public employee paid? Perry. Do you work beyond the 40th hour? And how are you paid? And you know what you're going to do, Perry, and what your boss is going to do, because she is corrupt to the core? Refuse to answer. Perry, when you get that paycheck, you can have a direct deposit or you get a paper check. Where do you think that money comes from? It's not the Federal Reserve. That's tax dollars. So you, Perry, have your salary. That's a 6-figure salary, right? And then when you work a 41st hour, how are you paid, Perry? You have a caseload? Do you go to court, Perry? Or are you one of these desk jockeys at the district attorney's office, your little district attorney's office? How are you paid if you work a 41st hour? What you're going to do, Perry, what your boss is going to do, the district attorney in Monroe County, is refuse to comply. Total cost of overtime, time and a half, or how to pay beyond a base salary is calculated at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office of Todd K. Baxter. I'm going to get to you now, Perry. Total cost of overtime, time and a half, or how to pay beyond base salary is calculated at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Sandra Doorley. So, let me look at one of these 6-figure salaries here. I've got the District Attorney's Office here. We have Leah Merrick Mervine, $101,407. Leah, $101,407. What do you do when you work a 41st hourly? And right below you is Mark Monahan, $123,817. Mark, $123,000. Is that what you paid all year long? If you work a full year, 52 weeks. Do you, Mark Monahan, earn $123,817? If you work a 41st hour, what do you, Mark Monahan, pay? And you refuse to answer, and so will your boss, Sandra Doorley. And Todd, let's see how long it's going to take for me to get to a 6-figure salary. Oh, I just opened it right away. Didn't even have to look. Pulled it right open. And I'm on, let's see. I've been on that page before. I'm going to go to a different page. You already read those names recently. I just turned the page to the next page for these 6-figure salaries. Andrew G. DeLiza, $108,824. Andrew, $108,824. Is that what you paid? You work a 40. You make more than $108,824. Kevin L. Shuffle, $106,130. Todd. Oh, you have to shine your bald head, Todd. If you have to take some time out now and shine your bald head and make it exceptionally shiny, I'll understand. But if your employee, Kevin Sheppel, he's a $106,000 cop, $106,130 for Kevin Sheppel, what happens if he works a 41st hour week? And you'll refuse to answer, Todd. You will refuse to answer, Sheriff Todd Baxter. Now, Todd, I was looking at your official portrait here, and I noticed that you're still bald. So I'd like to suggest what I use here on my glorious hair. I use this Old Spice Timber. You see, it says for the hair, a 2-in-1. And you see, you can't use this on your hair here, Todd, because you got no hair on your head. So that's very unfortunate. When did you start losing your hair, Todd? Because I saw recently, a picture of that I cited in my last YouTube of, you in the Democratic Chronicle, you wearing your ice cream man suit, and you're just as bald as a cue ball, Todd, baby. So, how do you pay your public employees when their 41st hours worked? Sandra Doorley and Todd Baxter. I think I was 26 years old, and I was in the press office on the 3rd floor of the Capitol. And a woman my colleague sat at the desk in front of me, and there was only 5 desks in the press office there. And an older man came in to the office. He put his hands on her neck, gave her a neck rub, and walked away. And she was totally frozen, and it was just really disgusting to watch that. That's not sexual harassment that rises to the level of an assault or rape. But putting hands on someone and touching someone repeatedly and doing things like that at the office does eventually, I hesitate because I don't want to say something's harassment when it may not be. But if you're being touched at the office repeatedly like that, then you're eventually being harassed. And it can be anything. Sexual harassment has 1,000 different definitions. From these guys, these slobs, these pigs that cannot keep their hands to themselves. I've seen this over and over and over. Not just with this one example. That's just the one I remember the most because of how upset she was. And I wish I would have said something to her too, like, I saw what happened, and if you want to go to somebody, make sure this guy, because he would come in the office all the time, and you never know if he was going to do it again. So, it could be almost anything. Sexual harassment. Yes, I understand that there are false accusations. Men that are just going about their work, or women, and then suddenly they're being accused of an act that they're not guilty of committing. But there is sexual harassment in the work environment. And there is a way to confirm that there's sexual harassment in the work environment. And it's how you answer this question, Sandra, Doorley, Todd, Baxter. What you're going to do is refuse to answer this question. Despite the fact that I have a document called the Freedom of Information Law, I'm demanding that you answer this question. Answer this question. Sheriff Todd Baxter and District Attorney Sandra Doorley. Cost of taxpayers of Monmouth County Sheriff Todd Baxter suspended taxpayer to offset employment-related discrimination lawsuits fair to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The cost of taxpayers of Monmouth County District Attorney Sandra Doorley suspended taxpayer to offset employment-related discrimination lawsuits fair to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. It is arguably the most important legislation ever passed by my former employers, United States Senate, United States House of Representatives. What's a surveillance device, Todd Baxter? The Central Intelligence Agency employees know what a surveillance device is, and so do you, because you bought one and have fixed it to 2025 Penfield Road when these parasites, Nairaj and Layla Kumar Shah, went to about me walk through the park line. You just don't dismiss them and say, get the hell out of our office. All he's doing is walk through his park line just like his neighbors, just like his excellent friend. Just like Penfield High School, since you do not dismiss, you went and you put that camera on that building. I'm walking through the park lot from 4th out time. That's when you, Elliot Ross, say to me, you're going to be arrested because you know they were there. Now I've seen the video image. And you refused to send me the first video image that was on the phone. This is the sick lunatic fringe. You are the sick lunatic fringe, Todd Baxter. What's the name of the employee that installed it? What's the name of the employee that approved it? Did it reach your desk? When I say did it reach your desk, did you have knowledge of this device being placed on this building? Because it's not every day that you put a camera called a surveillance device on a building for one innocent American. What's the name of the employee that approved this? You don't refuse to answer that? It's accountability is a joke to you. Cost of a surveillance device purchased with taxpayer dollars by Monmouth County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter fixed to a building in 2025 Penfield Road to monitor Christopher Giant says 26 Sanders Farm Drive. Walks through the parking lot next to the building. That's it right there. That's your surveillance device that I'm on. My excellent public defender, Regina Harper, thank you, Regina, for your dedication to my case. Sent me the links and sent it to me. It's a disgrace what you've done to me. Because you are a disgrace. Your employees are a disgrace. Every single inch of you is disgraceful. Freedom of Information Law. The cost of taxpayers for photography session approved by Monmouth County Sheriff Todd Baxter to photograph 10 public employees underwater in a pool. When was this picture taken and where was it taken? These are your 10 public employees. It was on your Facebook page. What are they doing in a pool? What's the purpose of it? There's the American flag in the background. There's the equipment. This is a dive team for Lake Ontario or any other body of water in Monroe County or near Monroe County. Why are your employees underwater like this? Training exercise, I'm told. That's a lie. How is this a training exercise? Did you expend taxpayer dollars on this photograph? Because you have to hire a photographer. When I say, did you expend taxpayer dollars, you don't have an official photographer at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. He has to get in his wetsuit. How is this done? I don't know. And you will refuse to answer. You will refuse to answer if you, as the sheriff of Monroe County, with your budget, sat at your desk and somebody came to you and said, this is what we want to do is take a picture of us underwater in a pool. And we need you to sign a check for the photographer or to rent the pool. I swim in the pool at the YMCA. And when I'm swimming my laps, there's no 10 Monroe County Sheriff employees beneath me. And if I went to the YMCA and went to do my usual laps, and then suddenly there's a photographer and there's 10 Monroe County Sheriff Office employees in a wetsuit, and I'm told you can't swim in the pool right now or today, that's going to be something I'm going to remember. So where was this taken? Was this in a pool, a community pool, and somebody like me walked in just to do their laps, and there's your public employees, your whack jobs in their suits getting ready to be photographed? I'm really trying not to laugh when I say all this because it's so absurd, but really it isn't. They had to rent a pool. You had to rent a pool. Did you rent a pool? Did you pay for the photographer? Were taxpayer dollars expended for this? A training exercise. If it's a training exercise, that's done on the time of a Monroe County Sheriff Office employee. And how much did you spend for it, Sheriff Todd Baxter? Cost for a hotel and plane ticket for Monroe County Sheriff employee Ryan Fisher to attend the Super Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia on February 3rd, 2019 with his canine dog Lola. What is Ryan Fisher doing in Georgia, which is history of segregation and racism? Why is he there for the Super Bowl? What was the event? What was the event? He went to an event? Was it a conference? Perhaps you're familiar with how cops like you, Todd, love to go to a conference and talk about how wonderful and terrific it is to be a cop and how hard the job is every day. You don't know what it's like for us police officers, and we have to, these mean criminals every day that we have to confront, and they won't let us arrest them, and the stress, the pressure that we have to face every single day. And, sometimes we get a divorce and we drink too much, and, even though that's our own fault. I mean, you just don't get what we have to go through. You ever hear cops talk about that fucking whining that cops do? I hate that when I see it on TV. You signed up for the job, you volunteered for the job, that's your job. Do your job and shut up. Do your job and stop that whining about being a cop. And that's all you are at the sheriff's office is a bunch of cops, 170 cops, is all you are. So, the cost for a hotel and plane ticket for the heroic Ryan Fisher to go to the Super Bowl with his dog, Lola. To bring the kinks with you, Ryan, baby. Were you there with a transvestite? And here he is, the heroic Ryan Fisher with Lola. There's Lola, this beautiful German Shepherd. What is Ryan Fisher doing in Atlanta, Georgia, Todd? We're tweeting about it as we get ready to watch Super Bowl. We're grateful to the men and women, scientific fans, and players safe in Atlanta, including MCSOs, Deputy Ryan Fisher, and K9 Lola. Deputy Fisher sent this photo from Atlanta. Thank you both for your service. So here he is, the heroic Ryan Fisher. Now, Ryan, I'm going to be you. I'm going to Chris Chichester, 26 Sanders Farm Drive. Here you are, Ryan, baby. I'm going to pretend to be you. When you're standing in front of Mercedes-Benz Stadium with your dog, because there you are walking around with your dog. Now, I'm going to guess that you by yourself. And then you take your camera. Let's say it's a tourist. This is somebody around there because this is a populated area. This is Mercedes-Benz Stadium, an NFL stadium. And then you, Ryan, say to this guy, this girl, this man, this woman in front of you, take my picture of me and my dog in front of Mercedes-Benz Stadium, please. And then this person takes your camera, takes your picture, and then you send it back to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, to Michael Riley, Kathleen Miller, William Tadeo, Scott O'Brien, and then they put it on a Twitter page. Joke, buffoon. And Orion, have you ever seen the flag of New York? Because this is it. Excelsior, Latin motto, ever higher. And you're not ever higher when you're in Atlanta, Georgia. That's the beautiful flag of New York. And the flag of New York is 1801. And now, Ryan, this is the current flag of Georgia that was adopted in 2003. Did you see this flag, Ryan, baby? When you were down there in Atlantic, Georgia, with its stars and bars, did you see a redneck? How many rednecks did you and Lola see when you're down there in Atlantic, Georgia? Because up until 2003, we had the official flag of Georgia is the official symbol of being a redneck, and that's it right there, the stars and bars. What the hell are you doing in Stars and Bars, Georgia, until 2003, Ryan Fisher? And I'm confident that you saw Stars and Bars everywhere with these rednecks. I used to see them when I was in 101st and Fort Campbell, and I would look at this. When I was in 101st and Fort Campbell, Clarksville, Tennessee, or Hopkinsville, Kentucky, or Nashville, I would see this occasionally. And I would be in confusion. And I was a young man, 19, 20, 21 years old. And I would think, I don't get it. I don't get that. What is that? And I, of course, had seen it before. But why don't they have the American flag? This is it. There's Ryan Fisher, Monroe County Sheriff Office employee in Atlantic, Georgia. And Ryan, you look like what a Monroe County Sheriff Office employee should look like. You don't look like you have excess poundage. Todd, what are your physical training standards to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? You refuse to answer. What are the physical training standards requirements of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Todd Baxter? Do you have a 2-mile run? Do you require your employees to do push-ups and sit-ups in a certain amount of time? What do you do to keep them physically fit? And the answer is you don't do anything. You have no physical training requirements or standards at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office because you have employee after employee after employee with weight problems, including you. You're overweight, Todd Baxter. You were overweight. The photographs I have seen of you, by 10 pounds, 15 pounds, 20 pounds, when you're overweight, it will fluctuate. But you're overweight. Lose weight, Sheriff Todd Baxter. Freedom of Information Law. Date and year, Monroe County Sheriff employee Todd Baxter rehired Michael Rather after his 20-plus year career with the Sheriff's Office. Said, what do you do for $0, Michael Rather? $0. Such a joke. How long have you been back? How long did you make your big return, Michael Radler? Are you wearing number 45 now at the Sheriff's Office, Michael, baby? Were you 23? That's what I want to know. Are you walking in there with your red and black jersey, you're now 45, you made your big comeback? That's what I want to know, Michael Radler. $0 employee. What a joke. How do you have any credibility at the office as a $0 employee? That's what they think of you. And I'd like to know, or I demand to know, if it's against the law for you to be paid any money since you retired. Freedom of Information Law. The names and charges of every man in Monroe County Jail from January 2018 to December 2nd, 2020. Names and charges. Name charge. Because I want to call these people and talk to these people. Because I'd like to ask if they were attacked at your jail by one of your public, which is what happened. Lie to me, Sandra, Doorley, or refuse to comply. Just give me a name. It's the first of 2 names, and you refuse to tell me a name both times. This is the prosecutor stands in Penfield Town Court, first before John Lomenzo, next before Paula Metzer, and absolute silence. And the reason why it's absolute silence is I haven't committed a crime. One person both times delivers me to Monroe County Jail without the prosecutor talking. What do you think about that, Sandra Doorley? And it doesn't matter. What do you think about that, Perry Duckles? Let me ask one of the 6-figure employees about prosecutor not talking in court here. Let me see here. One of these 6-figure assistant district attorneys there. Here we have Elizabeth Buckley, $115,302. Elizabeth Buckley, $115,000. What are you, Elizabeth, at $115,302? Think about a prosecutor not talking in Penfield Town Court twice and an innocent American being delivered to jail twice. What do you think about that, Elizabeth Buckley? Do you talk in court, Elizabeth Buckley? Do you? Does a prosecutor talk in court, Elizabeth Buckley? Doesn't matter to you. The answer is no. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester before Paula Metzer, Penfield Town Court. What's the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Doorley? What's the name of this 5'2" 3-piece suit boy who doesn't talk? He's standing there at the podium, walks over to Paula Metzer, hands her a piece of paper, and that delivers me to jail. How's that happen? Now, I'm going to read the first two again, because it's the first time you're getting them. These are the ones that demand immediately. The internal disciplinary records, documentation of employees at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Todd Baxter. Sheriff Todd Baxter is disciplined, reprimanded, or terminated from employment at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. The internal disciplinary records of documentation of employees at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, the District Attorney Sandra Doorley. District Attorney Sandra is disciplined, reprimanded, terminated from employment at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. Sandra and Todd, I ran this 5K in Fairport last year and started there on Main Street and went over the lift bridge and ran along the Erie Canal. It was called the Scum Jumper. The Scum Jumper. I was not jumping over your employees in Fairport at the Scum Jumper. Just want to set that straight, get the record straight. And we just received on December 2nd, you also received on November 30th, and I'm going to tell you ahead of time. On December 4th, you're going to see the same thing again. Same Freedom of Information Law document, the same language. So you received it on November 30th, you already have it. Now you already have it on December 2nd. And you're going to receive it again on December 4th. And what you're going to do with every single one is refuse. Now, what's the name of your public employee at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office who knocked me down? Sheriff Todd Baxter. What would you think if Zachary or Kevin Baxter was walking in front of Wegmans and 10 Monroe County Sheriff Office employees converged on Zachary Baxter? One of them lowered his shoulder, ran at Zachary Kevin Baxter, knocked Zachary Baxter, Kevin Baxter down on the ground. The head of Zachary Baxter, Kevin Baxter, hits the concrete, and then Zachary Baxter or Kevin Baxter has to go get an MRI at the hospital because of a Monroe County Sheriff Office employee. And then he's cut this check, Zachary Baxter, Kevin Baxter, $61.39. So that's what was in the pocket of Zachary Baxter. Kevin Baxter. Quote, the best defense of free American institutions is the heart of the American people. Frederick Douglass. Where's your heart, Sandra Doorley? Where's your heart, Todd Baxter? Who's Leela Rowe, Todd Baxter? Who is this woman? Proof by affidavit? That'll be included in Freedom of Information Law documents I'm going to send to you and when I contact the United States Attorney. Who is Leela Roque? How many times do I have to demand this? Proof by affidavit. Where's this affidavit? You in here looking for a hammer? You went upstairs, you went through my father's dresser that he had since he was a child in Brooklyn. What'd you find in my father's dresser? You took my Chromebook out of my house. Where's my Chromebook? You coming into my residence, Todd Baxter? When I got back, I knew it was you, Todd Baxter. You're a gangster, Todd Baxter. You don't even know it. Who is Leela Roque? Todd, with Aaliyah Burden escaping here like this and how you're refusing to explain how you can allow Aaliyah Burden, a 19-year-old pregnant inmate, to escape to a parking lot. During her appointment, Burden allegedly caused a distraction and escaped custody. Allegedly. How does she cause a distraction, Todd, baby? How does Aaliyah Burden distract your employees and then just walk out of a medical appointment because she's 8 months pregnant? How does that? What distraction did Aaliyah Burden cause? There's 1, 2, there's 3 of them right here. There's your whack jobs, Todd. There's Aaliyah Burden. There's causing a distraction here in her white gown. Aaliyah Burden caused a distraction, escaped to a parking lot out of your custody, Todd Baxter. So what I'd like to know, Todd, baby, with the 19-year-old Lee Burden, that means 2 years before this chrono mastermind was in high school, is does she have any assistance from Demi Moore escaping? Because, this is what she looked like right here. This is Demi Moore on the cover of Vanity Fair. I loved her in About last night, but I digress. And this is what Aaliyah Burden, in all likelihood, looked like. So how did you allow Aaliyah Burden, 19 years old, who looked exactly like this here, Demi Moore, on the cover of Vanity Fair? How How did you allow 19-year-old pregnant Leah Bird, who looks like Demi Moore, to escape to a parking lot, bald-headed Todd the fascist stooge? I got through that without laughing. Now, Todd, baby, I mean, I have to tell you here. You got your your official portrait here. I have to look for that again. I don't know if I can find it right away. Oh yeah, here it is. Here it is again, Todd. Your official portrait here. And Todd, I'm really concerned. When you're in your office at 130 South Plymouth Avenue, and you're sitting there and you're signing all your official paperwork. I have to comply with all these freedom of information law documents on demanding information for it. I mean, it's your shiny bald head. Is that do you have a glare off your shiny bald head? Is what I'd like to know. Because what you can't use on your shiny bald head is what I use. See, I used to see this Old Spice timber. You really can't use Old Spice timber. On your hair, Todd. It's really unfortunate because you got a bald head, Todd. And what you can't use. See, I use some on your Axe Forest. You can't use that either, Todd, baby. That's really unfortunate. For you, Todd. And I need to tell you that. You need to stay away from your buddy here because this guy's going to be a bad influence on you, Todd, right here. And here he is with his girlfriend, and he likes to tell her to sit down, shut up, and be quiet. So he's got this domination thing going. So Todd, this guy here, your buddy, potentially could have a bad influence over you and your bald head. All right, Todd, you heard that from me, Chris Church. I know you think I want to arrest that guy again and his wife and just ridiculing him. And that's exactly what you're thinking right there. So, Todd, I come outside. This is a reverse angle one day. That's reverse. How does anybody own that land, lady? Come on, name rush shop. I come outside, I see nobody else on the back of my house out of crime. You refuse to answer. You just refuse to answer. Todd, really? Would you put down your arm? I don't get it. I don't get this. Put down your arm. Nobody understands this incoherence. This thing you got going back and forth like this. So knock that off at the office, Todd. I mean, really, with that. So, now, Todd, since you were a Republican and then a Democrat, Republican, you don't know what the hell party you're in. And neither do you, Sandra. You just don't get it. I've been in one political party my whole life. I don't have two political parties, and I got one favorite football team. Todd said, I'm been a Jet fan my whole life. I have never cashed in my Jets for the Giants, despite all those Super Bowls. I'm a Jet fan. You understand me, party switching frauds, Sandra Doorley, Todd Baxter. You understand me? And I've been a Met fan my whole life too, since my dad took me to Shea Stadium first time in 1972. And even though I haven't won the World Series in 34 years, I've been a Met fan my whole life. And I did not cash in my Mets for the Yankees, even though they've won the World Series, I think it's 30 times now. Doesn't matter to me. What are you doing switching parties? Just say anything. That's why. You'll say anything. Does not matter what party you're in. Does not matter that each party, Republicans and Democrats, have different ideological beliefs. They are polar opposites. For you, it's the acquisition of power. Todd Baxter and Sandra Doorley. You will say anything, and you will say anything in any party you decide to be in, because that's a ballot line for you. And if you want to be elected or plan to be elected district attorney or sheriff, then you're going to use that ballot line, and it's going to be any means necessary for you. And that's exactly what you did. And that's why you were elected. So, any means necessary, and that's the way it works in elected. I'm not naive about that. So. Complying with every freedom of information law document, and you're going to refuse. Just like you, Todd. First time I demanded this, one of the first times, June 15, 2019, refused to open your mail. Why? So with this YouTube is 54 minutes. I have never committed a crime, and I'm going to go to the grand jury now, and I'm going to be a ham sandwich. Despite the fact that your employees hid in the bushes of my neighbor. Because your employees are going to go in there, Todd Baxter, and they're going to lie. Attempted assault, petty larceny, trespassing. Lie. What are their names? What are the names of your employees that hid in the bushes? Sandra Doorley and Todd Baxter, tell me. Todd Baxter, tell me the name of your two employees where I have to go to the grand jury that hid in the bushes on the private property of my neighbor. What are their names? And you will refuse. This is why I need the United States Department of Justice. You, Sandra Doorley, and you, Todd Baxter. You won't tell me the names of employees that are concocting crimes for me. They hide in the bushes. You won't even tell me the name of a prosecutor who doesn't talk in court. You're just corrupt to the core. Sandra Doorley and Todd Baxter. Quote, it is not the enactment, but the observance of laws that creates the character of a nation. End quote. President Calvin Coolidge. You, Sheriff Todd Baxter, and you, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, do not possess the character to serve as District Attorney and Sheriff anywhere in the United States of America. My name is Christopher Chichester. I live at 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield, and I have never committed a crime.